Ohio, welcome to Samurai Breakfast number 39. Today's breakfast is actually not a food. It is part of my morning ritual, and I play songs that really inspire me in the morning. So I have a playlist, and I'll play one of the songs or all the songs, and it just gets my day started. Do you start your day off with music, with a song? Do you do your crazy dancing behind the doors and don't let anybody see, but it just gets you going? Then you get into your car and you're at the traffic light and you're just like that, and then you look over and it's like, whatever. Yeah, and I can see my head going. Anyways, that's my breakfast, and I'll have regular breakfast after that. But it just, yeah, as you can see, it just gets the energy going. The topic today is a topic that came up just through the flow of life, and the message was delivered. It's kind of like when we think about life, we never know how it's going to be delivered and how it's going to arrive. I was at my brother's house, and we're having a little chat, and then he was just talking about, he says, hey, have you heard this song? And he named the song. He says, it's my favorite song lately. And I said, no, I haven't heard of that. So he says, I got to play it for you. So he puts the iPod on and he just plays it. And I'm listening to the words, the lyrics, the music, just everything. And tears are welling up in my eyes. This is exactly the message that I wanted, or I needed in the moment. And it reminded me that in order for us to do anything, to get from point A to point B or point A to point Z, it takes bravery. It takes bravery to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fulfill this. I'm going to create this dream. I'm going to get that job, etc. And for each one of us, the level of bravery is at different levels based on a life experience and how much bravery we have in ourselves. And it doesn't make anyone better than each other or less. It's just all about our own flow as we go through life. As this flow of, so I've been listening to that song a lot, and as the universe would have it, on Netflix, I was just randomly looking for some movies, and then this one topic, it was called Risk Takers, and it was about this guy named Elon Musk, who I hadn't heard of. But then as I watched the documentary, it's just like, oh, I've heard of his companies, because he started a company that eventually became PayPal, and he sold that to eBay for, and it was sold for $1 billion or something like that, and I think he got 200 million out of it. Then he also created it's funny, he's created a video game when he was 12 on his VIC 20. Sold that, made $500 I think when he was 12 years old. But then he keeps going, he just keeps going, and he created a company called Tesla, which makes electric cars. So they built the Tesla Roadster, which is like a high-end luxury car that's all electric. Now they've brought out a mid-range one, and then he's also opened a company called SpaceX, which creates rockets that have made it into orbit. Through the successes and failures of what they've been doing, they had landed, I think there was their fourth launch that was successful, and it got the eyes of NASA, and they got a contract with them for quite a bit, but to actually be the rocket that takes payloads up to the International Space Station now that the space shuttles are retired. So it's just phenomenal. And you watch an interview, like, just if you've, some of you may know him already, but if you don't know him, just watch one of his interviews. Just Google his name on YouTube, and or look at the one on Netflix. It's a really nice documentary. He's also in the there's an electric car documentary which I haven't watched yet, but his company is Tesla is in there as well. But just hearing how he goes about his life, like, people just ask him because they're just like, oh, where do you get the confidence? Where do you get the courage just to say, I'm gonna make a rocket company? And the answer that is kind of a common thread for him, he said, I don't necessarily say in my head that I'm going to build a rocket company. I kind of look at what is something that will make the world a better place, and is that something that I can create? And because that focus of knowing that's why he's making the company, it's that whole where there's a will, there's a way. He ends up just constantly creating these things, and he's had skyrocketing success. He's had plummeting devastation just in terms of how much stuff is going on in his life, and had to put in his own money to save Tesla, and like, it's just phenomenal. But the level of bravery when I look at his life, it's phenomenal. And I think he's like 42 or 43 years old now, but just still so young, and yet has done all that. So it made me look at steps of bravery, right? And you look at that in comparison, and it's not to compare and say, oh, where am I in comparison? But it's to say, look at what human beings are capable and are doing and showing their bravery. So this topic of bravery is just so strong with me this week, and it's kind of added on to the end of what I showed last week about making the impossible possible. Elon makes the impossible possible, and it's just fascinating to listen and watch the whole progress that he does. So how are you with your whole bravery? Are there things that stop you that may seem like little things, but maybe just watching a documentary about this guy or other entrepreneurs may just trigger us as like, well, you know what, I can make it through. This felt like a wall before, but it's like, no, actually there's a way around, or I can easily climb it with my bravery. So I commend your bravery on what you're doing, and the whole life path is just about bravery. It's about living our dreams. I'm all about going for our dreams, living our dreams, and bravery helps that path. I'll leave that with you. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you next week. Joy, light, and love. Namaste.